I'm Charles Story, president of the ECS Group, Inc. I guess my journey starts in Richmond, Virginia, which is where I'm born. My father was a voracious reader. He didn't have a college degree, but he would read the newspaper from cover to cover. And so I obviously grew up witnessing that, and he was an extraordinarily literate man. And so I decided that, I guess it was about 15 years ago, when I was approached by the Community Foundation about a donor advised fund. They asked me whether I would be interested in establishing one, and I said I did want to establish one, and I established one in his name, the Charles Story Memorial Advised Fund, and it's really to support literacy efforts. That's not the only effort that I support in my giving, but that's the one that I established through the Community Foundation. Empathy, I think, is the value that I try to lean into. My brother was a special needs child way back when. It's not appropriate today, but way back when, my brother would have been known as being retarded. And so that impacted me, that impacted my whole family, and I saw how my mother and father surrounded him with love, and the whole family really surrounded him with love. And so I developed an empathy gene a long, long time ago to help those that really needed a leg up, those who were less fortunate in whatever way. And so that's what I've kind of based my philanthropy on over the years. If I could look back, I think the moment I would share would be the moment that I knew that my parents expected excellence from me in everything that I did. I remember very well that every 6 weeks when I would get my grades, my father would sit at our kitchen table and he would say, "Boy, bring me those grades." And so I would bring my grades down, and when I was in the 9th grade, I got a C in chemistry. And he said to me, he looked at me and said, "As long as you live under this roof, you will never ever bring a C into this house." That was in the 9th grade. And so from that point on, guess what? I never brought another C into the house through high school, through college. And the whole message from him was excellence. We were given a lot from my parents. We weren't rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we had a roof over our head. We never suffered from food. And he knew that I had the ability to excel. So I think that whole piece about expecting excellence is something that I learned early on, and I've tried to carry forth throughout the rest of my life so far. Well, I do believe in the whole piece of give of your time, talent, and treasure. So I've served on innumerable boards in Nashville over the years. I've been in Nashville for over 40 years, so I can't count the number of nonprofit boards I've served on, and given to innumerable organizations over the years, be it having the Donor Advised Fund here at the Community Foundation, giving to my alma mater, Fisk University, giving to my church, giving to the food bank, giving to Nashville Rescue Mission. So to whom much is given, much is required. I do believe in that. And so given the resources that I've had a chance to accumulate over my life, I have tried to be as generous as possible to help those who have not been as fortunate as I have been. And so that's from a financial standpoint, but as I indicated, I've spent a lot of time on nonprofit boards. I love the governance space, and I love to help organizations reach their mission and their vision. And so I get really motivated. When you're on a board of an organization, it's kind of like a team of folks trying to carry an organization forward, and I get a lot of motivation from that. I don't think, in terms of Black philanthropy, I don't think we publicize our philanthropy as much as others may. I think there's a lot of it that goes on. I think it goes on relatively quietly. I think it goes on among our community in some fashion, but I just don't think there's the public recognition of Black generosity, particularly in Nashville. There's been a long tradition of that here in Nashville, but it's kind of gone under the radar. Not saying that it's bad, but it's taking place. It happens. There are Black philanthropists in this town that are making a hell of a difference, but they don't beat their chest about it. They don't publicize it a lot, but it is in fact going on, and it is making a difference in this town. I think being a game changer is seeing what needs to be done and bringing your full self to trying to make a positive impact. That's what I see. If you see things that need to be fixed, you see an opportunity that needs to be pursued, if you see a challenge that needs to be addressed, bring your full self to trying to address that situation, to make whatever the situation might have been better through your involvement in that particular situation. Not working alone, obviously, but working with others, because obviously in numbers there's strength. And so I think that's the key. Identifying a situation, bringing your full self to it, and getting others involved to address whatever that issue or opportunity or challenge may be. I think the advice would be to, and this is an overused word, networking is an overused term. There are a lot of networks in Nashville. Nashville has been here over 40 years. It used to be very closed, very cliquish, but a lot of people have moved here over the years from all over the country, be it LA, Chicago, New Orleans. And so I would just advise people who have moved here is to plug into those networks, to plug into those organizations, because there are a lot of them, and there are a lot of organizations that are doing good things. Now, those organizations don't necessarily do the best job of reaching out, so people who come to this community need to reach out themselves to people in those organizations, because people do kind of welcome you. Once you get here, everybody's looking for extra hands to help. So plug into those, intersect with those spheres of influence, those spheres of network in this town, and I think you'll be welcomed with open arms. I'm excited about the next generation of Black leadership in this town. I'm one of the quote unquote old guard. I've been here, like I said, over 40 years. And there's a lot of energy coming into this town from people who are the generation below me. And I see a lot of people collaborating. I think that's the key thing. People are willing to open their arms, open their minds, open their hands to collaborate with one another. And I'm really, really excited about that, about Nashville. And I think there's an extraordinarily bright future here for the generation, like I said, is coming behind me.